What makes some accents difficult to comprehend? Imagine hearing a voice that sounds familiar but also completely different from what you usually hear. Some accents can be tricky to understand, and today we're going to find out why. An accent is how someone pronounces words, shaped by their native language, where they grew up, and their life experiences. The word accent comes from Latin, meaning song added to speech, which shows how accents give a unique musical quality to language. The main reason some accents are hard to understand is because of differences in sounds. Every language has its own set of sounds, and when people learn a new language after childhood, they often carry over their native sound patterns. For example, German speakers learning English might struggle with the W and TH sounds because these do not exist in German. Instead, they might substitute V or Z sounds, making it harder for listeners to recognize the words. Vowel shifts are another big factor. These are changes in how vowels are pronounced. Take the New Zealand accent, where the word test is often said as tist, changing the E sound to an I similarly. Fist might sound like fust, with the I sounding more like U. These shifts can make familiar words sound unfamiliar, confusing listeners who expect standard pronunciations. The age when someone learns a language also plays a role. According to critical period theory, if a person learns a language after puberty, they usually can't sound like a native speaker. This is why adult immigrants often keep a strong accent, while children who move to a new country tend to develop more native-like speech. The human brain is most flexible with sounds during the first year of life, and after that, picking up new sounds becomes more difficult. Accents are also tied to vocabulary and grammar. Different regions have their own words and ways of speaking. For example, the Newcastle accent, called Geordie, uses words like brune for brown ale or belta for an expression of happiness. These differences add to the challenge because listeners must learn new words along with new pronunciations. Exposure matters a lot. If you have never heard a certain accent before, it takes time for your brain to get used to the sounds. Someone unfamiliar with maritime Canadian accents might initially struggle with speakers from Newfoundland or Breton. But with repeated listening, understanding usually gets easier as your brain adapts to the new sound patterns. Speech rate and rhythm also influence comprehension. Some accents involve faster speech or unusual stress patterns, making it harder to catch each word. For example, the Glaswegian accent is known for rapid speech and strong Scottish influences, which can be difficult even for native English speakers from other parts of the United Kingdom. Another factor is how people perceive accents. Sometimes, listeners judge non-native accents as less intelligent or less capable, even if that is not true. These biases can cause listeners to pay less attention or become anxious, making understanding even harder. The way an accent sounds can sometimes overshadow a speaker's actual skills or knowledge. Regional and social history also shape accents. Accents like the Southern American drawl, Yorkshire British, or Indian English reflected their specific cultural backgrounds. Some accents are more different from what listeners consider standard English, which makes understanding more challenging because there is a bigger gap between expected and actual pronunciation. So, when you hear an unfamiliar accent, your brain has to work harder to decode sounds and match them to words you know. This mental effort explains why understanding improves over time with exposure. Knowing what makes some accents difficult helps us see why pronunciation can be more challenging than vocabulary or grammar for language learners. It also shows why social biases related to accents can affect how people are seen and treated in everyday life.